are Khorngors, and you can pass 6.1.3. Okay, what's a Khorngor? I mean, I know some people go around referring to cornflakes, but... Oh, you mean Beastmen Gors who've devoted themselves to frenzy and war, even more than usual. That sounds kind of interesting. How does that work out? Recruited for 725 gold and 181 upkeep, at least for factions that pay gold. On Ultra scale, it's 120 Gors with 9,600 health between them. That part is normal. Armor of 60 is pretty significant considering the source. Spell resistance 35% dampens all your bread and butter damage spells like Flock of Doom. Leadership 62, I've seen worse. Speed 38 is pretty nimble, but charge speed 46 is also not that much higher. On paper, melee attack begins at only 18. Wow. Attack interval 4 is standard, no splash damage. Melee defense 26 is not good, but it could be a lot worse. Weapon strength 28 default is split base 8 and armor piercing 20, so this unit is already a full-time armor mulcher. Furthermore, there is a bonus versus large of 18. Whoa, it's versus large? Charge bonus is 16 and mass is 130. So what's better than a unit with Frenzy for plus 10 melee attack, plus 10% weapon strength and charge bonus and immunity to psychology, if not really low leadership? How about a unit with that and Primal Fury, providing plus 5 melee attack, plus 10% charge bonus, and plus 10% speed? Also, there is a unique passive, Fury of the Skull Throne, which kicks in like By Our Blood for Kislev. 22 seconds of Unbreakable if health dips below 50%. And you know what happens when a unit is unbreakable? Morale is set at a minimum of 100, so Primal Fury and Frenzy work throughout that state. Though shieldless, this is a charge defense versus large and a charge reflection unit, has Vanguard deployment, the Mark of Khorne for obvious reasons, and has the Hide in Forest and Woodsman traits, so it phases through trees rather than bunch up and gaggle. The boosts are going to depend on what faction is using them, so I'll try to be brief enough. And the redline skills for Khorne Demonic Lords, Ferocious Hunters at 3 pips grant speed plus 15% and charge bonus plus 12 flat, raising that to 28. Rank 7 Khorngors benefit from Khornes chosen for plus 5 melee attack, plus 5 melee defense, and 10% physical resistance. A Chaos Lord for Khorne, or otherwise, accesses Chaos Vanguard, at 3 pips granting plus 12 armor and plus 8 melee attack. Legion of Doom grants rank 7 infantry, armor plus 10, melee defense plus 5, and spell resistance plus 20%, so you'd get 55% total. For Beastmen, Fury of the Herd is where Khorngors were inserted, at 3 pips granting plus 6 leadership and plus 6 melee defense, and Unrelenting Savagery grants rank 7 ones, plus 5 melee attack, plus 5 melee defense, and physical resistance 10%. So you're getting something different depending on which faction you're going with. For tech, I'll limit myself to mainline Khorne, because to be blunt, there's a lot going on here. Killer's Trophy reduces upkeep by 10%, Rage Within adds plus 6 leadership and plus 6 melee attack, Warborn is plus 1 recruit rank and minus 15% recruitment cost, and I checked, this unit absolutely counts as Halberd Infantry, so Giant Slayer slaps an armor plus 10 and additional bonus versus large of plus 8. Consequently, the low starting melee attack becomes laughably irrelevant, especially against large opponents. So how do we use the Khorngors? The thing is, with all this going on, the unit is hardly weak against a lot of infantry, though it is still relatively restrained compared to what it gets versus cavalry. Just being armor-piercing is a very big deal. All this gets insane when you see how the unit is fast enough to go around actively hunting cavalry. Forget bracing, you can just go charging in with this kind of bonus versus large, and see what you can get. Well, if not cavalry, then absolutely monstrous infantry. And then anything slowing them down is death to them. You can take this unit into combat against things like Knights of the Black Rose and not even think about it. Melee Reflection is great when you can get it, but models will go flying if it's a Mammoth rather than Reiksguard. It'll still greatly reduce damage against you, but if that's seriously your situation, hunting a Mammoth, then bogging it down with something else and then charging in and gouging its flesh out is exactly how you should use this unit, because regular Chaos Warriors are just plain slower. So, to recap, Fanatical Armor-Piercing and Anti-Large fast infantry. It's very impressive. The lack of shields means that it can get shot to pieces potentially, but regular archers will waste precious time whittling them down, and speed is its own defense sometimes. It's fast enough to be used on flanks with aggression, and anything that gets bogged down is going to get destroyed. Extremely killy elite infantry will cut through them, but those guys' armor will get sliced up too, so even there you have options. Just remember that things like Discouraged are not psychology attacks quote-unquote, despite lowering leadership. so they're not completely invulnerable. Also, this is one thing with Khorne, because Khorne has Chaos Warriors with halberds, but Beastmen don't really have anything for anti-large between Ungor Spearmen and Minotaurs with great weapons. So this fills a big role that they need, and the only thing that occurs to me offhand for infantry that's anti-large besides that is the Bestigor Regiment of Renown. But for a regular unit, this was badly needed. Take care and have fun getting savage on opposing cavalry and monsters.